Welcome back to Mind Your Biz. In today's episode, we'll be unboxing and doing a technical review of the UBS One Web3 enabled smartphone by Oyster Labs. It's primarily for the TON ecosystem, but I'm here to tell you, you can use it for any number of Web3 applications or even as your own personal encrypted server. Oh yeah, we're going to go deep. Don't go anywhere. This phone has been making waves in the crypto community with its built-in Web3 apps at an affordable price point. Just $159 USD, shipped directly from the factory in Shenzhen to your door. That's right, a brand new 8-core Android phone with 6 gigs of RAM, which you could use as a daily driver if you wanted to. Shipped brand new from the factory to your mailbox. But can it live up to the hype? Let's dive in and find out. First impressions are important, and I'm happy to report that the UBS One phone comes in a sleek and elegant package. Inside, you'll find the phone itself, a pre-installed vinyl screen protector, so be careful removing that little tab on the screen wrap, a separate clear TPU bumper case, a short USB-A to C cable, and a cheap punched mild steel SIM popper tool. Altogether, not bad for the price. The phone itself feels solid in the hand, with a nice weight to it, especially once the included TPU case slips over the glass-backed metal frame. Sure, the design isn't exactly revolutionary, but it's clean with high utility in every feature, so it gets the job done. Beyond that, the front-facing mini display showing real-time crypto prices? At this price point, I'm not expecting an ultra-premium device with every bell and whistle, but it's little details like that mini screen that I think will cause more people to use this phone as a daily driver. So what's under the hood? The UBS One phone is powered by a 64-bit ARM V8A compatible Unisoc T616 system on a chip. I know that's a mouthful, but the CPU is 2 high-performance Cortex A75 cores and 6 low-power cores made from the Cortex A55 series. The GPU is a Mali G57, running all the OpenGL and Vulkan standards you would expect from a slightly older chip. The UBS One has 128 gigs of internal storage included and allows the user to use 8 gigs of that storage as a virtual memory space, expanding the base RAM from 6 gigs to, well, we'll just say kind of 11-ish gigs of total RAM, but most of that comes from this kind of ROM, really, not RAM. Storage can be expanded via microSD expansion. The SIM tray has 2 slots, one which can be used for either a second SIM card or a microSD card. Pretty darn cool. So, sure, the base specs aren't terrible, but it's not exactly top of the line either, even for a budget phone. Here are the base benchmark scores. See? It's underwhelming to say the least, but they're improved a tiny bit by adding that virtual memory in the memory expansion using the Android settings menu. So at least that pulls it up from the bottom of the pack on the Antutu leaderboard. I noticed a slight improvement as a before and after expanding the memory by partitioning that ROM disk from the internal MMC. It's right there in the top level settings menu of Android settings. All you have to do is toggle the switch and restart the phone. So based on my experience, I'd say it's a requirement if you want to use this phone and have it perform better as a daily driver. Plus, it's really easy. So just hit that switch and you got more, air quotes, RAM. Remember that if you choose any fringe use cases for this device to work as a server instead of a phone, the memory throughput from that base RAM, the 6 gigs of DDR4, that's the real star of the show. You should still kind of manage your expectations there. Kind of think, if it's a server, think workhorse, not racehorse. So what about the Web3 apps and ecosystem? This is where the UBS One phone really shines. The phone comes with a range of apps that help you coordinate wallet addresses for token airdrops, and it's tightly integrated with both the TON network and Telegram. In terms of preloaded Web3 apps, you'll find both TON Keeper, the #1 non-custodial wallet for the TON network, as well as the Oyster Plus apps already fully installed. Both Telegram and X have place markers that will prompt you to download and install them using the Google Play Store. Watch my degoogling video for the UBS One to see a workaround for that. As of this recording, the Oyster Plus app does not yet connect to Timekeeper, but the team at Oyster Labs has promised support for this in a future update. Until then, Oyster Labs team has already automated any airdrops and rewards by issuing a soul-bound token to the TON wallet used when you initially purchased the device. So be sure you actually buy the device with the wallet you intend to receive the airdrops. The UBS One must be ordered one at a time because of this soul-bound token. And if you're into idle games, you'll love the selection available on the TON network. Games like Notcoin and Hamster Combat took the platform by storm, and they're a great way to earn rewards and onboard new users. Notcoin alone onboarded over 30 million new users to the platform who all created wallets. So there's real power in the marketing aspect of what Oyster Labs is doing here. Some of you might be thinking, wait a minute, isn't this phone a bit sketchy? And to be honest, yes, there are some risks and concerns to be aware of. For one thing, the phone is running a fully Googled version of Android. Full fat, vanilla Android. That means Google has access to all sorts of data on your device that have nothing to do with, say, like the Gmail app or the Calendar app, or you just signing into Google. That means the OS at a very fundamental level collects user data and telemetry and phones that back to Google, whether it knows which Google account you have or not. And then, of course, there's the issue of location tracking. Even if you don't have a SIM card inserted, the phone's baseband radio can still triangulate your location and identify itself to whatever local cellular towers it communicates with or in close proximity. Even third-party tracking radios, which are technically illegal, they're also listed on Alibaba cheap. And I know from personal experience because I've been surveilled by somebody using one. Here they are right there on the Alibaba page. It's all a bit concerning if you ask me. Not to mention the fact that, yes, it comes from a factory in Shenzhen, so there may be some interest in the operators of that factory to install some kind of hardware spying device. Anything's possible. So if you're ultra paranoid, treat this thing like you can't trust it. Don't connect it to your home Wi-Fi, use a hotspot, get a burner SIM card. You know the drill. Make sure it doesn't touch any networks or any user accounts that are important to you. That's about as much as you can do there during activation. But you might be thinking, is it possible to fully de-Google the UBS One and make it more private so that I can use it as my daily driver? Well, yes. Yes, you can. In fact, I've already shot a separate video that shows you how to de-Google the UBS One and Saga 2 phones, or literally any Android device, easily, step by step, without using a separate computer, using command line tools, or even needing root level access. So again, if you want to know more about de-Googling this phone, be sure to check out the additional UBS One videos on the channel. I humbly believe the de-Googling video in particular might just change the way you use mobile technology forever. One of the things I personally love most about this phone is its potential for creative use cases. For example, you could install up to 2 burner SIM cards and use it as an international portable hotspot. Or, hear me out, even as a dedicated server for running your own private cloud software, like a full node on Bitcoin, Monero, or the Zeno network. And yes, before you ask, all 3 of those networks can run a full node on this hardware. And before you ask again, yes, I'm already editing those videos as you watch this. Think of it as my Christmas gift to you for being so patient with me, for taking such a long break from making videos. You're welcome. And if you're feeling adventurous, you could add a powered USB hub and pair it with all kinds of stuff. My favorite setup for tinkering so far has been to use a gigabit NIC to create an ultra high-speed network connection to the phone and adding a high-speed external SSD. So it can be used as an encrypted cloud server for stuff like private cloud storage and password management using Nextcloud and Bitwarden. And with the UBS One's expansion slot and the really low price of fast SD card storage, it's never been a better time to run a mobile server on the cheap using just cheap micro SD cards. Heck, you could even set up an email server or host your website from it. Run an IPFS node, pin your favorite permaweb items, host your own blog and podcast, host your own Nginx server to multicast to Twitter, YouTube, and Kick simultaneously at 4K, but for free, instead of paying almost $1,000 a year to StreamYard. No, I'm not bitter at all about that price hike. But anyway, the possibilities with this thing are endless if you're motivated enough. I mean, think about it. Even this budget phone has more power in its CPU than a Raspberry Pi 4. Check it out. 2 full Cortex A75 cores running at 2 GHz plus 6 more cores running at 1.8 GHz made on a 12 nanometer process versus the Raspberry Pi 4 with just 4 Cortex A72 cores at 1.5 GHz on a 28 nanometer die. Now I know, nerd alert, but it's crazy that the most popular device for hosting your own full Bitcoin node is not even in the same league as this entry-level phone. After all, phones are technically just an ARM mini PC with a built-in touchscreen and a touch-optimized operating system so that you don't even need any other hardware to operate them, not even a keyboard or mouse like the Raspberry Pi requires. I show you how to exploit all of that in other videos, so hit up the UBS One playlist if you really want to geek out. Let's zoom out really quickly and look at the big picture so we don't forget the most important use case of all. Using this phone to make money. Just like the Saga 2 on Solana, whether it's through token airdrops from idle tapping games.
Look at the value of what this device brings in terms of the airdrops.
Dad, my wrists hurt so much. Do you think they'll give us the airdrop soon?
Merry Christmas, you filthy animal. And a Happy New Year. So, if you're looking for a unique gift for your kids or friends, consider getting them a UBS One phone. Just think of it as a way to teach them the value of hard work and entrepreneurship, or something like that. Okay, so it's time for the $159 question, because frankly, you're not going to break the bank. It's not even 2 full bills. But should you pick one up? Well, that's always for you to answer, right? You don't let me tell you what to do, but I did pick one up because I knew that I could use this for any number of other things. Again, check the playlist. You're gonna find some really great use cases, and we're gonna go through it step by step. So you're not wondering, how do I do this exactly? I'm gonna show you step by step how to make this do more stuff than just be a phone if you don't feel like putting a SIM card in it. But if you do feel like putting a SIM card in it, actually it's a decent daily driver. I did get one as a gift for somebody else in my life. They're already using it as a daily driver, and it hasn't slowed them down one bit. That said, their expectations for performance from this phone are very low. You can't get around the fact that this is an entry-level device in a slightly nicer looking build quality on the outside. So if what you need is top-shelf graphics performance, the ability to run really high benchmarks for some special use case of yours, or you're just used to an extremely premium phone, this is not going to be for you. That said, we went through every conceivable use case in my worldview. What do you think you would use a phone like this, if not some of the stuff that I cover in the video? Tell me down in the comment. Thank you so much for watching to the end. You're the reason I make this media. I love your face. Remember to stay private and mind your biz.